to do to address all of these issues. And what does every poll tell us? And I want to reiterate one point, I'll say it 5 times today. Virtually everything that I am telling you, and what you believe, or you would not be here today, is believed and agreed to by the vast majority of the American people. I don't want anybody to leave this room saying, well, you know, I'm a progressive, we're in the minority, there are not a whole lot of us, but we're going to keep fighting. Wrong. You are in the strong majority. Now that may be not reflected in Washington, it may not be reflected on CBS, probably not on Fox TV. But it is the truth, and it is important that you understand it. You're not a courageous minority. You are part of the majority. Look at the polls. I do this all the time. I suspect he does. What do the American people want? What is the first issue on the top in terms of what people want? What is it? There you go. You got it. And it's exactly right. People say jobs and the economy. I want my kid to have a job. I'm 50 years of age. I lost my job. I'm now working for half wages. We need jobs. And what the Progressive Caucus, what some of us in the Senate are trying to do, is develop a strong federal jobs program, which is what the American people want. Now we can go on for many hours. You know, we can go on for many hours talking about how you create the jobs. It's a good discussion. But I'll tell you one way that the economists tell us can create millions of jobs right away and make our country more productive. And that is rebuilding our crumbling. I don't know about Minnesota, but I know in Vermont people get on the road and they have been known to disappear. Their roads were potholed, and weeks later their families give them.
We lost a bridge a couple of years ago.
And it is roads, and it is bridges, and it is, I'm a former mayor, let me tell you, water plants and wastewater plants, very expensive propositions, but absolutely necessary for the health of the community. Old schools, rail, we're way behind Europe, Japan, China in rail, which is environmentally sensitive. We can create millions of jobs at all levels, not just blue-collar jobs, at all levels by doing that. Now, I also happen to hold a very radical position, and that I have to confess it right here, I believe in science. I know. Sometimes you gotta say it the way it is. No matter what Rush Limbaugh and Fox News says, but I do believe in science. And I am a member of both the environmental and energy committees in the Senate. And we hear from the scientific community all over the time. And what they say, and there is no longer a debate about it. Don't let anybody tell you there's a debate. The only debate is between Sean Hannity and Rush Limbaugh. But not within the scientific community. The evidence is overwhelming. Climate change is real. Climate change is caused by human activity. Climate change today is already causing devastating problems in terms of droughts, floods, forest fires, rising sea levels, and God knows what that will mean in years to come. If you ask the CIA or the Defense Department about one of their great national security issues, you know what it is? Climate change. Because when you have drought around the world, people are going to migrate. And when people migrate and compete for limited land or water, you're going to have international conflict. So I say that within the context, not only do we have the moral responsibility to address climate change and cut carbon emissions, you can create jobs through weatherization, through energy efficiency. We're working on a project in central Vermont right now, got federal money. 1,000 homes are going to be weatherized. You know what that means? It means that the fuel bills from those people is going to be reduced by 30–50%. Greenhouse gas emissions reduced 30–50%. We create jobs for the people who help weatherize those homes. So jobs are at the very top of the agenda. But the other issue is wages. Again, a complicated issue. But at the very least, I hope, we can all agree that a $7.25 national minimum wage is a starvation wage that has to be. Tuesday, there will be a bill, I believe, sometimes things happen in the Senate. You don't expect. But we expect the bill to come to the floor, which will raise the minimum wage to $10.10. And the Koch brothers had their day there as well. They won their pay raise there as well. So what American politics, our political system is evolving to, is not one person, one vote, but a few people on top anointing candidates. Now, that's bad. Let me tell you what's even worse. I know I've cheered you all up next week. I'm really feeling happy. My wife always says we should hand out, after I finish speaking, Ms. Phillip is going to hand out tranquilizers. And antidepressants. It's a corruption of democracy when any billionaire is throwing out hundreds of millions of dollars. By the way, whether it's a liberal guy or a right. And don't think, you'll see on Fox, well, both sides do it. Yeah, both sides do it, but it's not a question of equivalence. The reason the Republican Party has pushed the Supreme Court to do it is they understand quite correctly they will get far more money than the Democrats. But be that as it may, it is important to understand. The real question is not how much money these guys are spending. What do they want? What do they want? Now, I want to talk about that because the media does not talk about it. Okay? Who are the Koch brothers? What are they want? Now, here's the point. In 1980, David Koch, one of the Koch brothers, ran for Vice President of the United States on the Libertarian Party. And I don't make fun of third parties because I run third parties in my life, much of my life. And he got 1% of the vote. I don't make fun of that because when people get up, people get ideas, and help fund the party, all that stuff. What is important is what the platform of the party was that he ran on. The most important thing to understand about modern American politics today is that what was considered insane, nutty, extremist 30 years ago is now mainstream Republican. That is the most significant aspect of modern American politics, the degree to which the Koch brothers and others have taken what used to be a moderate conservative party. Remember White David Eisenhower? Read his platform in 1952 or 56. It looks like the moderate Democrat platform today. Dwight David Eisenhower could not get into the door of a Republican primary today. He would be considered a raving revolutionary socialist. All right? Now listen carefully. I want to read you this. A staffer, a guy on my staff, discovered this. And what he discovered was the platform, what David Koch ran on in 1980, in which he got 1% of the vote. And I want you to see how far these guys have come. First plank, I'm quoting exactly, word for word. And by the way, go to my website, Sanders.senate.gov, you can get more of this. I quote, word for word from the platform. We urge the repeal of federal campaign finance laws and the immediate abolition of the despotic Federal Election Commission. Wow. Okay. Do you know what the chairman of the Republican Party today is saying? That is what he's saying. You know what Clarence Thomas said in his recent decision to McCutcheon? He said, okay, I'll vote for McCutcheon. It doesn't go far enough. We've got to end all limitations. You know what that means? Right now, the Koch brothers can spend as much money as they want on independent expenditures. They can flood the airways with some phony front group, Citizens for a Better Minnesota, telling you how horrible Keith Ellison is. They can do that. But what they can't do right now is put millions of dollars into Keith's opponent or Al Franken's opponent. That's against the law. What these guys want to do is eliminate that and have the Koch brothers sit there and say, okay, here's $10 million for you, $50 million for you. That is what the Koch brothers talked about in 1980. That is what the Republican Party wants to do today.